Welcome to the buy list. This is episode 60.
This is not financial advice. This is cardboard. Shisha. What is up, Ted? It's been a little bit.
Yeah, it has been a bit. We took another week off.
We didn't take a week off,
Yeah, it was close to a week.
did we? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
life
Fair
stuff
enough.
happened. I held it down with some streams.
Yeah.
Um,
That was
some
my bad.
pretty.
I ended up in the ER and then tried to was like, yeah, I'm not feeling like
Yeah,
recording. So
I guess that's an okay excuse, Nate. I
yeah.
guess
Yeah.
you could have called in though from your phone,
Yeah.
but
That's fair.
whatever.
That's fair.
Uh,
Everything's all good. I was just not feeling great. So
no, that's.
um
I'm glad to hear you're feeling better.
yes.
Um, I held it down with some streams. Dude, the last two streams were heaters. I know you watched, right? Of course.
For
Um,
sure. I tuned in for a little bit.
yeah, I guess that's gonna lead us into our main topic of the night, but Mistveil is like pretty fun to open.
Mhm.
I think it's becoming like one of my most favorites because there's just like a lot of hits. The like well, we can break it down a little bit further, but yeah, the box break streams have been really fun. Just like exciting to open these boxes. Not always, which we'll talk about, but no, the streams have been fun, exciting. I haven't been doing a lot of playing since Nats, to be fair. I've been doing a lot of planning though. Dude, going to Japan is like not something you just click like buy airplane ticket and then just be like, I'll do this later.
Yeah,
This
no.
is like I'm metaphorically hyperventilating over here because I'm like, dude, there's so much to see. I only have 3 days. I have like multiple lists from like multiple people telling me like you got to go see this, this, this. I'm like, oh man. And then on top of that, I booked travel for Tampa too because I have to go to Tampa. Um, yeah, so it's been there's other fab things happening for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can start playing some more. But yeah,
I've booked zero travel. Um
boo.
I know. I'm not even sure I'm gonna be able to make it the world yet. So fingers crossed, everyone please send me your energy that I can convince my wife that I can leave for a week in October over Halloween
Oh
with
yeah, that's
two small
right.
children.
Oh
I swear,
no.
like this calendar year for Flesh and Blood is quite difficult on the fab dads of the world. It's like
Yeah.
so U.S. Nationals, Father's Day, got Halloween,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
that's right.
like my girl's favorite holiday is Halloween.
Oh no.
Christmas can
Yeah.
suck it next to Halloween.
Really?
Yes, they
Wow.
love Halloween. So um yeah, it's difficult to say the
Yep.
least. So working on that, but hoping I can go, but also like it's definitely something that I am internally debating myself if I want to go as well, because like giving up a
Yep.
Halloween with the kids is definitely tough to do. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
um
there's only so many of them, right?
yes.
So you gotta cherish them. Well, on the positive side, if you can't make it to Japan this year, you can look forward to next year, which will be in the States, which should be much easier for us to get to.
Yes. I just have to get an invite for that one because my invite is
Oh
only for
yeah, that's
Osaka.
right.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
Beautiful
just run it
destination,
back,
but
bro. What are you doing, man?
yeah, I'll just run
I
it back.
mean,
That's
just
all.
like you just
Easy.
gotta run it back.
Yeah,
Just
easy.
find a PTI somewhere out there in the wilderness.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
could find one in Tampa, but this guy, I'm going. I'm excited for Tampa. That'll be fun.
That like is that kind of puts a lot of stress on the box breaking operation, which is
Hmm.
also so like there's just
It's
so
like 2 weeks, man. You got this.
sure it's
It's that.
like 2 weeks before, but like it's just that, and then I'm like gonna take off work and like be like basically
Hmm.
like not super helpful with the kids for like 3 to 4 days. Very much less than ideal. I need to really bank some wife capital,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, for
and do
sure.
something that is nice for her. So,
Yeah.
um,
No,
yeah,
like jokes aside, my fall schedule is like actually insane. It's so the beginning of August, I'm going to Gen Con, which is like the first time I've ever gone to Gen Con, but it's like also because Fab was there, is like Fab's gonna be there,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
I probably honestly straight up, I probably would just have skipped it if there wasn't going to be LSS events there. But I'm excited to do other stuff there as well.
yeah,
And then the beginning of September, I have Tampa, and then Worlds right after that. So it's
yeah,
just like bang, 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 and it's like yeah, even for me with like no kids and like mostly stress free, it's like yeah, it's not easy for sure.
yeah.
So
It's you're gonna love Gen Con. It's
yeah,
it is a lot of
I've heard
fun.
it's insane.
It is like nonstop. You need a vacation coming back from Gen Con though, because it is like
Yeah,
it's so much, but it's so much
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. That's all I've heard from everyone that's gone. So
yeah,
I'm pretty pumped to check it out for the first time. Um, all right, Nate, let's get into it.
yep,
We're leaving it up to like one main topic tonight. And since we're what, a month away, a month out from
yeah, yeah,
Mistveil dropping, or right
yeah,
around there,
yes, yeah. We're
maybe
one
a
more.
little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of set in review. Obviously leaning set, market leaning, and like how Miss Vale performed, and just like I don't really have any. I didn't prepare any data for this because I don't. What I mean, I don't know. There's really not much to talk about on that front, right? We know where it is. If you're listening to this, you know where the prices are at. But kind of just break it down element by element. Um, and I think the first point that I would like to bring up, and I think this will be one of our shorter topics because it's an easy thing to talk about, is that mechanic wise, gameplay wise, we can get this right out of the way. I think that Misfail was a huge hit,
Mhm.
game wise. Yes, it's like polarized the meta, but transcending mystic heroes are just a ton of fun. It's like I don't know what it is about like flipping the cards and doing the thing, and like just like how powerful each hero's ability feels when you do it. It's just something really satisfying, at least for me, to do. And I'm going to be straight up. I was a little skeptical, like hearing like James White and all the guys being like, "Oh, dude, transcending's so good. You just flipping the cards." I'm like, all right, like
Yeah.
that's cool, dude. But then like in like gameplay wise, it's actually a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun.
Yes. Especially when they're Marvels. When they're Marvels, they feel
Yeah.
it's like 10 times more powerful. Um,
Yeah, I bet.
there is like so much more than like any other game. This game, when you are like, I don't know, like when you are physically doing the things with certain cards,
Yeah.
there's something like very like visceral about the feeling that you get while doing those actions. Like
Hmm.
Ranger loading your arrow into your arsenal and then shooting it off is
Yeah.
it just feels very authentic, which is something that I think really connects people. Like think about how absolute dog water Azalea was for eons. Now, some of you Zoomers might not know how terrible Azalea
She was
used to be.
awful, dude. She was so
She
bad.
was unplayable garbage tier because she couldn't block. She couldn't really do anything powerful. She had red in the ledger, and that was basically it.
Hmm.
And she had like all of her pumps sucked. Like you were running like nimbleism and like
Oh my god.
it was
Nimblism versus lace with bloodlot. Hmm.
yeah, it was really bad. So like, but people loved that hero because it
Yeah.
just felt like you were like literally like knocking your bow, pulling
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
back, and shooting it at someone for
Yeah.
like you took about 12 game actions and it was like 8 dominate,
Yeah.
but it felt sick. It wasn't very
Yeah.
powerful, but
Yeah.
man, you felt like a freaking baller. And I think that's one thing that like this set, like the transcend mechanic, like you said, like really captures and brings home, which is just like chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Hats off to everybody at LSS for that, like for working on that and like just making it feel authentic.
Yeah. Dude, I'm gonna like totally geek out here. And like as you were talking about that, I can like add to why I think it's so much fun is like, and I don't know if I mentioned it on the pod yet, but we've talked about it where like Zen feels very close to chain to me because you get to play with some extra cards. You have to like sequence things properly. You have to like know what's in your deck and like when to get it and like when to banish and like manage your graveyard banish and stuff. So that puzzle has felt really close to me. But like straight up, oh my god, this is so nerdy. But like hats off to Alex and like the promotional team because like when I'm playing Zen, I actually think about at times, right? Not every time, but like the video where he's like enough, he's like bringing out the tigers and stuff. He doesn't play too many tigers, but like that like actually adds to the flavor to me and stuff. And like Zin's this dude that's just like no nonsense, like he's just gonna beat your face in.
yeah,
And obviously he is one swole dude on the art too. That helps. He is just like fully ripped. Like the two other heroes are like, oh, we're gonna send like mystic attacks at you and talk you into like giving up your secrets. He's just like, nah, dude. I bring ghost tigers.
yeah.
I'll punch you in the face.
You mentioning that like it basically like I can now envision like every time you slide hat in front of an attack you're just like enough, you're dead now. That's because that's how it feels on my side when I'm like
Oh no.
oh,
You're
oh,
blocking with
what
that.
can I do, what can I do, what can I
Yeah.
undo button, I don't want to attack anymore, I don't want to attack anymore.
Just arsenal and passing. But
So like
yeah.
I know like what's funny is like looking at the design of Flesh and Blood sets, though, does have a lot of crossover to the marketability of them. And I think, hands down, Mistveil has been a just phenomenal success.
Yeah.
Like everyone loves this set.
Hmm.
It's the best limited set they've designed to date. I think it is probably better than Welcome the Wraith. I think um was it, I think Cody was talking about it on the Runaways podcast, but like um it feels very, the draft process feels so much better, but the
Mm-hmm.
gameplay can be a little bit linear at times,
Hmm.
which maybe that's just because there's like a ninja in the set, and maybe that's because I only play Enigma in draft.
Yeah.
But it does feel like the draft decisions really are rewarding and make like
Hmm.
are very crucial, but the gameplay is the opposite, which is funny because like it's
Yeah.
the opposite of what most sets have been in the past, where it's like the gameplay is like very crucial, but the drafting is kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I think I think because this set is so successful, it's actually hurt the
Yeah. We can get into it.
like
The meat. Yeah.
marketability, because like the you look at the prices of all the cards and it is not great.
Yeah, so we can. Yeah, I think A plus on marketing. I like I said, like I feel like I know these heroes better, right?
Yeah.
Because Enigma does her little spiel, and then like intercut with like New talking about how she wants to like seduce people and assassinate them, and then Zen comes in. It's like I didn't really get that feeling with heavy hitters that much. Although the marketing was great for heavy hitters,
Yeah.
I just didn't. I hope they really continue this, like, oh, this is what this like 3 minute snippet, right, even of this hero of like moving card art is enough to like get me excited for it. And I think that happened. And like jumping into what you were just saying, um that's probably part of it, right? Is that like off the success of heavy hitters, and we've been paying attention, obviously. Mistveil got has been very popular, and it got opened by a lot of people. It got opened by a lot of stores. It got opened by a lot of players, I think, as well. I mean, for good reason, right? You're getting a Marvel a case now. Like they had the EA, like Traverse the Universe is like we've talked about it, the most beautiful card in the game. Like
Yep.
you want to
The
go after that.
Yep.
Marvel Heroes is just stacked on top of each other, right? So unfortunately, that leaves us at a point now where, and it was sadly, it was like pretty apparent quickly after the release
Yeah.
that here in the states, if you're an international listener, we use, and you probably use it too, but TCG Low, tcgplayer.com. Um, yeah, prices kind of fell quickly, right? Much more quickly than heavy hitters. I think heavy hitters, there's a lot of like wait and see, and then it turned out to be a banger of a set, which like helped keep the card prices up, right?
Yeah. I mean, coming off the back of Bright's Lights, which was a set that a lot of stores got like stuck
Juiced.
with. Yeah, they like a lot like it was not well received. A lot of places
Hmm.
have just like bright lights just sitting on the shelves. Like I think a lot of people were a little bit more like trepid going into heavy. So
Hmm.
orders were not as big. People were not putting as many case orders, but heavy was such a banger. And then I what's funny is do you think they did too good of a job hyping up Mistveil and the overall design of Mistveil? Because I do think that like the set actually suffers from being so
Successful.
fantastic and
Yeah.
juiced. Like
Yeah.
there are so many people that like
There's
I know who ordered more than they normally do on
mhm,
top of stores who are like getting all of the when do we get like because you think about like the stores are probably hearing this from their customers like hey I want 2 cases and they're like you never even order a box
mhm.
and like they're like okay this set this like that's kind of their signal to be like this is the fire set like we should go
Yeah.
heavy into it so then it's like kind of like a step
Cascades.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like was Miss Fail doomed because it was not doomed
Burdened by its own success.
yes,
Yeah.
it's burdened by its
A
own
little
success.
bit.
Was it too juiced? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably onto something, Nate, right? I mean, it's just like it's such a tiered thing too, right? It's like it has an illusionist in it. Like you start it from like the ground the ground floor and you're
mm,
like ninja illusionist, very popular classes, right? Assassin again, like I would say assassin is like one of the most popular classes in Flesh and Blood as well, right? So first of all, they had three banger classes that people and the ninja people have been waiting a long time, and then it just so happened illusionist players just lost their like main squeeze, so they had to find a new one, and then they're like, oh, by the way, she's this cool like moon person that
Moon
like
Lady. Yeah.
yeah, moon lady, and then like one of the best cards has cats on it, like a cat ghost army, and it's just like double 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 double, and then oh, there's these like, and I think on top of it, the art too. Like you look at the cheat cards, something like art that we've just never seen in Flesh and Blood, so like foreign. Like yeah, it just kind of just kept doubling down. And like I've well, let me say this. I think LSS is like, dude, they're like smiling, going to bed every night right now, right? LSS is like
Yeah.
LSS can't take the smile off their face, right? It's like
Yeah.
permanently stuck on there because I think as far as LSS is concerned, set is just an amazing step forward for them and a success, right? And so we can't lose sight of that. But like, we sell cards, we look at the market, and there was some it just
It
wasn't
fell
as good as heavy, right? That I guess we can start there.
Heavy was stabler for longer.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Heavy still has like a higher EV. Like the legendaries are holding more
Yeah.
value. Now like comparing like legendaries from like Heavy to Mistveil are very locked.
Locked. Yeah.
Um, Heavies those legendaries are not locked
Yeah.
and I
They're a
think
couple
that might
heroes each. Yeah.
yeah I think that might it'll be interesting to see how they try the design going forward, because every time they try to lock something to a hero, the legendary just suffers. Like it doesn't matter how
Yeah,
broken it is. Like freaking Pathways is insanely busted. Like 12 pedal is insanely busted and is in the best deck in the format, and it's $23.
yeah.
Like something it, something
Let's be
has to
fair.
change with
Rainbow Foil Legendary should be cheap, but like $23 is
23 bucks for the best legendary in the format is a little too cheap.
yeah.
Like you should see that separate from, I don't even know what mask is that, like the spooky mask.
Oh, I
Um,
can't imagine it's much higher.
but like that's the thing, is
If
they're
higher at all,
relatively
yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
And the Majestics are all incredibly cheap, and I was actually surprised at how quickly they did an incredible job with the power level of these Majestics. All of them are
Mhm.
like, when we did our set review, they were all just kind of like right in that, like, we didn't think anything was like super egregious of like, this thing's unplayable. Why was this printed?
Yeah.
Outside of Dogwater Shrine, but that's besides
Yeah, that's yeah.
that, like that's that the whatever. Draw my LL. Otherwise, that would have probably been like a $5 Majestic. But like watching the prices and trying to like keep track of the market in those first 2 weeks, it fell very quickly and very rapidly with going into national season too. So, and I
Yeah.
don't know. That was the other thing I didn't know if that played too big of a factor into it, was that basically US Nats had like you had a 2 week turnaround. You basically couldn't order from TCG Player because like you don't
Yeah.
know if you're
You
getting those
don't know if you
cards
get
on
the
time.
cards, yeah. Yep.
So you had to make sure that you source them yourself or locally, which I think might have pulled away from a lot of the sales. And then also, like after US Nats, people aren't like scrambling to get cards anymore. So
Yeah.
like I don't know if that also impacted it. So it might have been like a perfect storm of like best set they've ever made in US Nats, like not being conducive to like being too close to the release to help
Keep the
make sure the
prices,
market
yeah.
was stable for longer, because I was actually expecting it to be very hot initially.
Yeah, but thinking back to like those first 2 weeks before Nats, there was just like cards like Siren's Call, right? It's like a 3 of in new decks, right? We saw it played a lot this weekend. I remember like a week after release, Nate, where we were talking about like, dude, Siren's Call is a card, right? And I like went and looked it up on TCG Player, and it was like $3.50. I don't know where it's sitting right now, but there was, to get it to $5, there had to have been like 60 copies sold. I went through and counted them. I was like, okay, how much does this card, like how much can this card move? And I was like,
No,
rough, dude. And there was like, we saw that throughout a lot of the Majestics. Some of the Majestics, like, unfortunately, it's like we've been kind of keeping a tally. We've been talking back and forth, and it's just like, well, we're up to two Majestics over $10, right? It's like Weakest Link and Levels of Enlightenment. And like maybe Bonds of Agony is getting close. I'm not sure, but it's like, yeah, it's tough coming from heavy hitters. I think we have to like adjust a little bit there. Um, but yeah, overall, like, yeah, the market's been tough on this one, man. You kind of had to watch
yeah,
yourself, and I think going into Rosetta, we have to keep this in our back pocket, right? Like, and see how LSS adjusts, because I think they will make adjustments, because it's not this is not an unknown thing to them, right? They've commented
they,
previously that they watch these things,
they do
um, so
it.
uh,
I think um like overall, Mistveil, absolute banger, complete success. But I think that I don't know how that like to fix like boxes holding out, especially with this much success of a set. Like I don't know what to like what's supposed to like make sure that these things like maintain and like
we
don't
forgot
cray
about
down
a
in value, because I think the EV is like in the 60s now.
Yeah.
Um,
We
but
forgot about one big thing actually.
what's that?
That is like not a non-factor. Mr. Alpha Investments himself, Rudy,
Yeah,
coming out 2 weeks before the release. And this is no slight to Rudy. This is no slight to his
big
channel. Like,
fight.
I mean, I don't think what he was doing. I watched the video, right? Like, I think a couple minutes. I kind of hit or miss on some of the stuff he does, to be completely honest. But I watched that video, and I think, honestly, straight up, I think he was being like mega positive on the game. Like, I think Rudy is generally leans positive on Flesh and Blood. There was obviously a little snafu, but also I think him talking about I think what he called it, the inverted EV, or just essentially he came out and did like a 10-minute spiel on how heavy hitters was, you know, multiple stores are telling me I'm opening these boxes and like getting positive EV on my singles because I'm, hitting a cold foil bone breaker and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Which is 100 was at the time, and I don't know if it is now. And heavy hitters that was actually true. Like, he's not out there just blowing smoke up our asses or anything. Like, I think you are very. I think maybe you weren't going positive, but you were definitely like, yeah, this is like even to maybe even up a little bit, especially at like a store's wholesale price.
Yeah, that's
Um,
like
but,
most
but doing that, I think really perked up a
hurt.
lot of ears, and probably perked up a lot of people's ears that never really messed with Flesh and Blood too much. And maybe we got a bunch of new people and a bunch of new stores, new players of other games opening the set, which again, probably a positive because maybe some of those players stick around and they play the game or they sell singles now, etc. But that definitely did some damage to the secondary market when comparing it to heavy.
Yes, I agree. Like that, I understand why Rudy did. It's true. Like if a store
Yeah.
is getting boxes like in the 50s and they can
Heavy
open it,
hitters, you
and
could,
like in the
yeah.
EV of most sets is over $70. Yes, can they? Will they make money? No. like like one, there's a lot of variance. Two,
Yes.
you have employees that you have to pay to open those boxes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do I make a ton of money when we do like when we did our 200 boxes of Mistveil? I made no money. I made maybe $100,
Yeah.
but I got a play set for myself, so I guess I made like maybe a grand.
Yeah.
Well, with where the EV is going, who knows? But
Yeah.
um, like that's the whole reason I do it. But like
Yeah.
stores are gonna want to get more out of their time and money to do this, and I think they might have realized that if everyone piles in at the same time, it's not great overall. Because you would see like, and like this is something that like I look at when selling post release is like what stores have a lot like when you're listing cards, you want to make sure that you're not just like matching the low. Little insider tip for y'all: don't
Yeah.
just match low
Remember
because you're
why you
gonna
pay
match.
money.
You're literally gonna match Little Timmy's card shop, who has 4.5 sales, and he's $5 below everyone else, and he has one single copy of the card.
He needs that $5 in his bank account so bad, Nate, for that card that
You
he's going
were
to price that $10 card for $5 because he
yeah.
needs it now, dude. He needs it so
You,
bad.
listen, I'm aware of these individuals, and I like it just doesn't make like you are basically by hitting match low, you are trusting every other
To do their due
seller on
diligence,
TCG
right?
Player to like actually have a functional brain cell, which I can assure you most do not.
I've definitely caught myself doing that where it was like match low and then I walk away and it's just like all six sold. Then I'm like, go and click on the card after it's sold and be like, shit,
Yeah,
I just juiced myself.
yeah,
So yeah, you have to do some due diligence if you want to sell some cards. Um, but yeah, you're right. Like I'm not sitting here saying it's all Rudy's fault. It's like that's what I want to make
It's
clear.
just mostly his fault. No,
he had a
it's really not. It's really not. But like when
he
the
had a
fucking
factor, right? There's a lot of
yeah,
people that watch his videos,
a lot.
and it's not a non-zero. It's like I know it's not a non. It's like it was a huge factor, and what he was saying was not untrue either, right? He wasn't trying to like I said, like I agreed with what he was saying, but it had a interesting effect um, that we have to kind of account for, I guess, in
Yes.
Mistveil. So
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think we'll see a lot of those stores who maybe like half committed, probably not do it again in Rosetta.
yeah,
Um, but it will be interesting to see. So Rosetta has 24 marvels, which is even more marvels, which is even
mm-hmm.
more juice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think um, overall, I really like. I loved Mistveil as well. It was probably one of my favorite sets to open. I think there's a couple flaws within the set design itself that we can talk about,
Yeah,
which I think is something that we've kind of continued to see throughout their set design.
mm-hmm.
Not like not like gameplay wise, but like how
No,
they are like it's basically the Fabled. I don't know. I literally am
yeah,
barely speaking English at this point. The
yeah.
Fabled has been a trouble point for them in terms of design and marketability. And um, I think there's a couple different ways that they can go about fixing this because they clearly don't want
They
to print. Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think we disagree on this because we kind of went back and forth today on this,
Yeah,
but they unfortunately went back to a rainbow foil fabled, which like bummed me out. We had only cold foil fabled and heavy hitters, which it's like not even a playable card. Well, I mean, if you want to like blow up a library, you can play it, but come on, like you're not playing Deathmatch Arena. Um, but yeah, I was kind of hoping that was an indicator in heavy that we would just kind of be done with Rainbow Foil Fableds. Although I fully admit, and I think this is maybe where you're coming from too, is that that opens up LSS to heaps of problems if they whoopsie and make, or not even if they whoopsie, if it's just like 2 years from now, like the Mist Gully is all of a sudden the card that you need to play in the new, like when we go back to Mystic Heroes, and it's just like, oh whoops, this Fabled's like super good, and if you only printed it in cold foil it would, oh, that's a mess for them, right?
yes.
But I still think that having the rainbow foil and cold foil, in my opinion, is like kind of a miss as an opening experience, right? Because um and I was trying to like think of a better way of like elegantly saying this, Nate. And I think the best way I can put it is why do I think it's like kind of a bad pull experience is because let's say I open the rainbow foil legendary, right? And I'm like, oh, it's not cold foil, but now I have 12 petals. Now I have traverse. I can play with this card. This card slots into my folder, my binder, right? When I open the rainbow foil fabled, I'm like, I actually just want the cold foil. Like there's like, you know what I mean? Like it's not a playable card in CC, so it's not even like, oh good, I have my playable copy. I hope I open or I'll go buy the cold foil for my collection. That's where and I might be alone in this. I don't know. Sound off in the comments if you feel this way too. But like for me, I'm just like bummer. It's not the cold foil.
So it is playable.
Of course, yeah, it is.
Like there's, I think like several Enigma decks that top eight had it in there, but it's only in there the kill library.
Okay, so
So
it's
and that's they don't want to push these cards. I did test with it
yeah,
initially because it was like a all right, you're kind of
yeah.
cute. What
It
are we
was
gonna
like
do with
Plague
you?
Hive, right? Where you're like, does
Yeah,
this work? And then you're like, oh, actually, no.
yeah. So like we can. What's so weird?
we talked to Carol about this too, right? And I think he even talked about it a little bit, where they're like, yeah, we have to be super careful with them,
Mhm.
um,
It makes
and
sense.
so
You don't
they know, right? But
you don't want a super expensive one of to it's fine if it ends up being super expensive, but then it's also a one of. So like if you play, pitch, whatever you do with it, and then like it just feels like what really powerful one ofs just feel really bad in every game experience because it's just like, oh well, they drew their super broken one of like when you drew Soul Reaping and banished like three cards off that stupid bugger, and you're just like, yes, that feels terrible. And they've kind of designed away from it. So I think they should just scrap the Fable as like a card. Personally, I don't think they should design Fables anymore. It's too it comes in like Vincent. It, it does.
it does. That's a good. That's actually, now that I'm thinking through what the sentence you just said meant, and yeah, you're right. It kind of is.
Be-
I think.
they're
I
afraid to
think that's
push a Fable to be very good. And I think so. I think they did a really good job with Light of Soul because that is very playable. It's
yeah.
very good in the deck. It is an upgrade, but it isn't required to play Prism.
No.
But it definitely is very good,
Yeah.
but only in Prism.
Yeah. I think I think the middle ground is, and it's like the thing that protects them from a super rare cold foil collectible card per se becoming like really good. Like we've talked about this in previous episodes, right? Heart of Findel. Some of the first cycle Fableds are like not easy to get a hold of, and that's why they're $300. And like Icelanders straight up played that, and it was like it got you a couple percent. And if you're trying to win a pro tour or nationals, you need that couple percent, like
Yeah.
straight up.
Yep.
Um, so to avoid that kind of issue, right? Because I think we talked about this. You can't reprint a Fable; it'll never happen. I think they're smart enough to know that they can never do that. So that's why they have to protect themselves on these.
Yeah.
Um, is you just do more CNCs, man. Like
Not
you,
more, but
not another CNC,
okay.
but you take the same formatting. It's a Marvel, different art, cold foil only, and then future sets are just like we're gonna pay homage to like the classic power cards of the game. And everybody's talked about this. We've probably talked about it on the podcast, but you start with obviously you go to Art of War, you go to Enlightened Strike, and then you just keep kind of and then like players have their cards and then collectors have their like uber hit and then bougie blingers are like yeah I'll pay $2,100 for my cold foil cncs and I will show you how this bravo draws a hand of reds and dies.
So
Sorry, bravo
I
players.
I I agree and disagree. I don't think we should be going back. Just leave this stuff in the past. Like one, you definitely can't do Art of War. I don't think LSS can do Art of War. I think
Oh, after the judge pack thing,
after the Judge Pack, I don't think they can do it. It would be a big, just like,
if it's new art and it's ea and it's cold foil,
the thing is, they have so much other design space. Just don't be lazy with it. Like,
yeah.
sure, you can cold foil EA it. You can put a freaking dollar bill behind the card and like, ooh, like whatever. But like, I think if you look at like the last sets, there's always been like this like clear cut card that is like, this is the card. This is very good. Like if they had like a cold foil EA Levels of Enlightenment that had an alternate art, or in like maybe they had three different types of art,
Oh jeez.
like for each level, right?
Yeah.
Like you would, so you could have three. Like your deck should be like each different level.
Oh
Thanks,
my
Paul, for
god,
like the
dude.
initial idea. I did riff on it a little bit, but like
Yeah.
you have the draw a card one, you have the go again, and you have the +2, and then so you can have all three different arts in your deck, and then you go back to the like heavy, like having Blade Flurry as like an alternate art cold foil that like is just like an absolute banger. Like bright lights, twin drive, just cold foil alt art,
Yeah.
warmonger's diplomacy, just like
Yeah.
have like clearly that's Bolton in the room, but then like have like more boys in the room. Like put Dory in there too. Colt
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and like you could even do like a have it like a round table setting. So then like you could have like a different hero. So there could be like different like there has to be more chase if the low end is going to continue to be so low. Like if legendaries are going to be in the 20s, you have to have the chase be thousands. Not
Yeah.
like there's no chase in this set. That's I think the overall issue with this is that the Fable fell flat and there's no real big chase. That sure
Yeah.
there's the whatever the enigma that no one is ever going to see. Like
Dude, that enigma is, yeah.
sorry, like no normal mortals are going to see that card, but like if
I
you
was a
did
little surprised that the adult hero marvels kind of fell to where they're at, to be honest.
they are very rare. I'm also surprised, but
Yeah.
I think it's
So they're not even really a chase.
yeah. But going back, like they know what like they know some of the like absolute banger majestics. You could just have to give them like really special treatments. You can give like shit like traverse the universe. You do the rainbow foil, the cold foil, and then like do some absolute batshit insane like freaking star map. It doesn't even have words on it. It's literally just a freaking star map with a freaking spaceship. Like
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be
I
kind
don't
of
know.
cool. And
Yeah.
then like a year later, Beyond the Universe's magic set can just oh, I'm sorry. Y'all see y'all see those Assassin's Creed cards? Those look pretty familiar.
Yeah, I saw Magic was printing Codex of Frailties.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Uh, but
I think
they're
I think that's a good idea, and I think it'll lead me into kind of what I wanted to talk about, was like a slight miss in this set. Moving on from the Fabled, the gold packs were a great idea, and then we've kind of already hit on this like at release, but they need to change them moving forward, right? It can't just be Enigma, New Moon, Rainbow Foil, basically almost all the time. So here's the best way I can explain what made me realize. Well, kind of like made me realize, even for like a normal player person, how it felt. My wife, super excited about gold packs. She saw me open them on stream. She watches all my streams. She's like, dude, she was like begging me to open like the inventory for stream. She's like, we gotta find gold pack. I need to find a gold pack. And then she saw me open like three of them on stream, and she's like, wait, it's always just that one card. And I was like, yup. And she goes, she literally this week, she's like, I was like, yeah, we didn't get any gold packs. She's like, yeah, I know, I saw that. She's like, it's whatever. It's always that one card. And like walked away. And I was like, yep, gotta fix that, guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
It's
that was
gotta
like
be like if the levels of enlightenment altar, like three different versions were in those gold packs too. Dude.
yeah.
Oh my god. Dude.
That was like the conclusion that like me and Josh came to too is like we opened one each to just get our Enigma New Moon and then we sold the rest.
Yeah.
It was like we're just probably going to open 9 more of these Enigma New Moons. So what's the point? Like might as well just sell them, get more money. If we miss the one in bajillion chance of
Yeah.
actually hitting the like Marvel Enigma whatever. But like
Yeah, it's like risk management, right? You just couldn't
yeah.
it's like too
Um
high of a risk.
it like to that point too, like my what I will do like towards the end of the day typically is like me and my wife will watch like TV in bed and we will open packs together. Like
Mhm.
and she will like help me like open a box basically or two and it helps through the process. But like she audibly gasped at like a couple of the Marvel. She's like,
Yeah.
like that feeling of like this is special. But
Hmm.
then I was telling her about the gold packs, and she's like, I want a gold pack. And I was just like,
Yeah.
it's basically just the same card in every pack. She's like, oh, I don't really care then.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
But I think that's one thing that like can pull like non-fabbers in and be like, all right, I'm a degenerate.
Yeah.
That looks degenerate. Me likey.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think the gold pack proved that it was a proof of concept. We talked about this before, right? Where I think LSS tried to, don't go fully crazy and then have you know what I mean? Like manufacturing errors that screw things up. You just start out slow. And it was a great proof of concept because it did the thing that they wanted to do. And it's exciting. It was exciting to find them 100%.
yep.
It just, we need to iterate a bit on it and make it a pool of like 5 or 6 cards maybe, and like those 5 or 6 cards are like hard to get and it's very special, right? So um
And you can have like the baseline be random legendary. I think they should move literally all the hits into gold packs. Maybe
I
not.
mean, wow.
Sorry, that's a dumb
Yeah,
idea
no,
actually.
I
But
don't
like
think so, dude.
I think
I don't think we
I
want to
think
do that.
and I talked about this like after Bright Lights is like there's so much power to not knowing and the buildup and the excitement to be disappointed sometimes, but there has to be excitement sometimes. And that
Hmm.
was like when opening Bright Lights, that was the worst opening experience in the world because there
It
was
was,
no cracked bobbles. It sounds weird, but when you see a cracked bobble in the back of the pack, you're like, oh, it
yeah,
could be anything. It could even be a boat. And then all of a
yeah,
sudden you flip it over and it's a cracked bobble. You are chronically depressed.
yeah.
And in this set, you got crouching tigers too. So it's like
It's
you got
double.
double
Yeah,
bone.
yeah,
But when you flip it over and it's a freaking cold foil traverse the universe after being abused for like 8 boxes in a row of just crouching tiger, cracked bobble, it's just like, oh, we did it. And it's just like you're so freaking pumped, but you only get that pumped when you get your absolute shit kicked into you.
yeah. Yeah, I actually hit the I actually kind of use a word here. I actually kind of like transcended that experience actually a bit. So funny, yeah, pun intended. But it's like I had a funny experience. So I reserved a couple cases of Japanese product for myself, and like straight up, we've already talked about it, but Mistveil, the chi cards obviously have the cold foil chi on the back. So like when you open the pack, you can see the edge of the cold foiling, and the blue is like very common, right?
Mhm.
And so that, like you said, that's like what makes it fun to open boxes of this set is like you open the pack and you're like, oh my god, I just hit I hit the, even if it is the common chi card, right?
Mhm.
Well, I was opening my Japanese packs, and after just dogging on the Fabled, um, I open a Japanese pack, right, and I see the chi, the blue chi, right, and I was like, sweet, I got a Japanese Marvel, and instantly my head goes to odds are it's like Passover, I hope it's a stir the pot, right, all these things. I flip it over and it was the Fabled. I was like, oh man, like that was that was like a cool experience because it was like two levels of excitement. You're like, yes, I hit it. And then it's like, oh snap. It's like, it's the next one up, right? And there was a couple levels of that in this set, which made it fun, right? Because you could hit the Jade, the Sacred Art ones, which are like much rarer than the commons. So there's like always this like which Marvel is it, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they need to like continue making sure that that is fulfilled, and I hope the gold packs grow in size, like, um, and have more hits in them. To be honest.
Okay. Okay, so I've got a couple really hot takes before we wrap up
Oh
tonight.
boy,
Here's what
we're
they
at
should be.
49 minutes. Brian's sleeping. We can release the hot takes now.
Yeah, Brian's never going to hear this one. All right. One, remove all foils from packs. Get rid of them.
Okay.
No one cares
Uh,
about their like. You see this blue fighting
so,
spirit card sucks. Never going in any deck. It's sitting on my desk. It'll sit here for eternity until I throw it away.
sir, I disagree.
Okay, sure. Disagree all you want. But here's what we do. Gold packs, all foils, and a hit. So there's no more foilings in packs. One, it helps the drafting experience because there's no like random curved cards in your deck that could potentially be marked cards, even though that's
Yeah.
how the good Lord printed them. Um, so it improves the drafting experience. It also improves LSS's ability to control the drafting experience because foils are just randomly inserted. So like I remember I was watching some of the AGE draft event, and like guy opens pack and he's just like, there's two freaking red Blanches in the pack. One foil, one non-foil.
Mm.
What the? How does that happen? Get rid of the foils. Doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
You're welcome,
Also,
James White. I'm not even going to ask for royalties on that one. Put all of them. So every two cases, you get a gold pack. All foils. So you get like 13 foil cards and a hit.
oh my god, dude, foils would be so expensive.
Good. That's what they should be. Right
Uh,
now, what is this, Ted? 5 cent?
yeah,
What is
it's
this?
I don't
Zero
know.
cent? Because no one will actually pay me any money for a yellow sigil of
It makes it
protection?
yeah, but it like functionally I like your out of box thinking here, but it functionally makes like foiling a deck nearly impossible.
Foils
Uh
should be special, and they're not. Let's make foils
no,
special again.
that
Common and rare cold foils or common and rare foils aren't special anymore. There might be a better way to like make them feel more special, but like we're not tiny, like we're not small children. We don't need like every pack to be like, "Ooh, I got a foil. I feel so special now." Like we're all adults. We're playing an adult game. Flesh and
yeah,
Blood has one
but
of the more mature communities of like in card gaming. Like I think we could all handle not opening a foil every pack, and I think we could all handle not having a cold foil in every box.
yeah, I agree. Okay, yeah, we've talked about this before,
Yeah.
and I agree with that. A cold foil every box should. I think cold foil should be like you should like fall out of your seat when you open a cold foil. I understand that the best. Well, my best theory is that they put a cold foil on every box so that a new player, when they see it, are like, "Wow, this is what look how good this card looks." I can only imagine what this legendary would look like, right? It's like a tease of like what cold foiling is, but I think we're past that. Like when the game was brand new, it probably made a lot of sense to be like, look at this. This is our new foiling technique. Like this is amazing. No one else does
Yep.
this.
Yep.
But now it's kind of just a now okay, so now that I get done with that little spiel, I will say, and I've said this on stream a lot to people that are I'm opening boxes for, is that they did a good job with Mistveil. That when you hit a cold foil common or rare, it doesn't kill the box. There is a lot of double cold foil.
What am I gonna do with these, Ted?
Throw them at the camera next week.
Probably. They're about as worth. Dude, the Levia that I threw at the camera this week might be worth more than this.
Yeah, our good friend Josh would like to argue this point that some cold foil commons and rares become very valuable.
I think that they did a very good job actually with the set in terms of cold foil commons because they're all very playable. The issue is that they print them in every single box, so they're worth no money.
Nothing.
Like
Yeah.
Stride of Reprisal, the cold foil common feat for the best deck in the format is $1.70. I have 4 of them available on TCG Player. Please buy them
I
before they
think
get
they
banned.
should. Yeah, so I think they should not do it every box. My pitch would be, don't do it every box, and then do it to only play like cards that devs played in CC. So this set would be Strata Reprisal, 100% comes in cold foil. Maybe like Aqua Lapse or the it might not even be Aqua Lapse, but the feet,
Arou- Arousing Wave and Undertow Stilettos, 100%. And then
100% should be cold foil, but then the others don't, right?
Uphold
Like
Tradition.
Yep.
If you like it, you should have put a. Oh, I can't. I don't think I can
Yeah,
sing
yeah, dude.
anymore.
Don't get a strike. Um, but you could go back through the sets, right? I think LSS knows what's playable, right? Um, what's the generic buckler from last set, right? Heavy hitters, obviously.
Did you say the generic muffler?
The generic buckler, the shield, right? What the hell is that called? Doesn't
Oh,
matter.
um,
Anyways, but
that
you
card
you
sucks. The Clash one, yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, no, not even the Clash one. The one that like Vincent runs or Viserai runs, right?
Oh,
That
bloodied
just
oval.
yeah, Bloodied Oval. Make that a cold foil, right? Because that does see play in decks.
It is cold foil.
Fringe. It is, but I'm saying you shrink your pool, right? You do Bloody Oval, you do Hot Streak, you do Parry Blade. That's it, right? Like, and then you don't do every box. It's like one a case, one a case. Bring it
Yeah,
down. Like, make cold foils feel incredibly hard to get. That's I've been saying that since the 2.0 the Fab 2.0 article cucked me pretty hard, and I thought that's what they said in there, and I was like, yes, cold foils are going to be so amazing, and then they're like, no, it's still
it's still.
here's the cold
Yeah,
foil for everything. Or you
here's
do
a
like
potato.
the I think another good example are like the Ash Wings and the Phoenix Flames. Just do stuff like that, right? I don't know.
Yeah, make
Anyways,
like the tokens cold foil and special. Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
All right, are you ready for actually, this is my best theory. And I really hope
The foil one was garbage. The cold foil one I can get behind.
foil one was actually fantastic. You can suck it. Um, so all right. So shout out to Dead Summer Art. If you guys don't subscribe to Dead Summer Art, you're doing yourself a disservice. Amazing lore content. Just like
Mm,
I could listen to Dead Summer Art speak about lore literally all day. The accent, the everything, just like so in depth, so good. Um, so he just released a video about how like the big tree died, and then um all of like the like little seedlings came down, and like that's like
yeah,
what Briar was born in and stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like that's what all these like little like pods of people that make up Candlehold were like saved in as like these little seeds.
yeah,
He was talking about how that could be the cracked bauble.
yeah.
The Fabled, this set,
It's the crack
crack
bubble.
fucking bauble, baby. Let's go. Dude,
Dude, that would be so insane.
imagine an alternate art serialized cracked bauble that has like
A
this is
tree grow
Briar.
like the new tree growing out of it.
Yes, that's like this is Briar's cracked bauble pod. One of 50.
That would be pretty awesome. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about serialized cards, but I'm not a I'm not against them. But I think a craft bobble fable would be amazing.
All I know,
Uh, it
hey
better be cold
James,
foil only though.
or I should just say, I know Carol actually listens. I don't know if he listened this long in the episode.
Nah.
One, Carol, stop hacking my computer and taking my ideas. Two, please don't send the Pinkertons after me. I didn't hack into your computers. I just know you guys are making the cold foil fable. No one told me. Don't send the Pinkertons.
Craft bobble. That'd be so wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be something. But all right, Nate. It's 1 hour. We hit the 1 hour. We got to do more episodes so that we don't just ramble for an hour straight.
Just go super deep. All right, fair, 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 fair.
Yeah, yeah,
I was thinking next week we could do Bolton stream
yeah. Bolton stream would be
with the
pretty
Bolton deck.
sweet. Yeah,
Yep.
can it beat Talishar? Yeah, let's plan on doing that. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but all right, guys, let's wrap it up here. Thanks everyone for listening. Please like, subscribe, do all the things, hit the bell so you know when these videos come out. We'll talk to you next time.
Put your money where your mouth is. Meow, meow, meow. Peace.
Peace.